The mayor of Calais has said that she hopes to move 5,000 migrants from the jungle camp in the French port across the Channel to Britain as punishment for leaving the EU. Both Natasha Bouchard, the mayor of Calais, and the regional president Xavier Bertrand have already called for the renegotiation of the border deal with the UK that allows the British border agency to carry out customs checks in France before migrants cross the border into the UK. They hope that, with the border agency forced to carry out the checks after they've already crossed the channel, more migrants will get through illegally. Bouchard and Bertrand have already made clear plans to send as many migrants as possible to the south coast of England following the dissolving of the Calais Agreement, which allows for UK border control to conduct business on French soil. Bouchard said plainly that, quote, Britain must take the consequences of its choice. Xavier Bertrand clarified by saying, quote, the English wanted to take back their freedom. They must take back their border. We have seen the horrors of the Calais migrant camp, lovingly nicknamed the jungle. When the French government saw how people were living, they attempted to dismantle the camp and relocate the migrants, only to be met with rioting, looting, and general violence. Natasha Bouchard and Xavier Bertrand know exactly what they're doing. They're angry because the UK had a fair vote and its citizens decided they didn't want to be a part of the New World Order. So what did they do? The worst possible thing they can think of. They exacerbate one of the very problems that many UK citizens are worried about. They send thousands of violent individuals and a couple of women and children across the channel by any means necessary. We have seen the violence in the jungle. Why do you think it would be any different in London? France sending violent migrants to England is just as effective, maybe more, as sending them an army or even a bomb. It is an act of war to send anything over the border with the intent of harming the target country. All the while, on this side of the Atlantic, Paul Ryan is telling us that we shouldn't be concerned with Muslim immigrants, even though France is basically using them as a weapon at this point. And don't think we aren't taking our fair share, too. Obama is on track to meet and exceed his goal of 10,000 migrants by the end of the year. In fact, we'll have reached 10,000 by September, giving him ample time to get at least a few thousand more in before January. But we have less to worry about on this side of the ocean. Since we have so much water between us, we can be a little choosier about which migrants we allow in. According to the Wall Street Journal, of the Syrians being admitted this fiscal year, since October 1st, only 20% are adult men, the majority of those being in a family unit. Now let's be clear here. Of the Syrians admitted this fiscal year. Good, I'm glad we're all on the same page. A representative of the State Department said that the increase in arrivals does not represent a curtailment in any way of our comprehensive and robust security screening, adding that Syrian refugees are subject to even more scrutiny than other refugees. Though admitting 5,000 migrants in 3 months doesn't exactly scream rigorous vetting process. And how much security screening can they do for people with no papers and no background records? With the Syrian government in shambles, I doubt they're keeping extensive backgrounds on all of their citizens. How would the government know if one of the migrants previously trained with ISIS or associates with militant Muslims? Luckily, the government doesn't have to tell you or me that little fact. As far as it's concerned, the government doesn't even have to tell you when they're putting migrants next door. The state of Texas filed a lawsuit with the federal government, of course, asking to suspend resettlement in their state. They claim that the Obama administration didn't adequately consult with Texas before sending migrants there, which is required by the Administrative Procedure Act. They also claimed that Obama was violating the Take Care Clause of the Constitution by taking this executive action. The judge laughed at Texas and sent them packing, saying that the state didn't have any authority over the resettlement of migrants by the federal government. Moreover, the judge claimed that the state failed to prove that Syrian refugees pose a threat. Because in order to exercise your right as a state to be consulted before you have thousands of strange people screaming at you for housing, you have to prove that those people are a threat. I won't even mention the disparity between Trump's proposed immigration policy and Hillary's. And while I think mass deportation is not the way to go, I certainly don't think mass importation is either. The fact that France is now threatening to use Muslim migrants as a weapon against the UK should be our first clue that something just isn't right here. Have an opinion? Leave me a comment below. I'll never delete comments and I will reply to as many as I can. If you have an idea for a story I should do, or you just want to get a hold of me, tweet at me at littlemissskeptic. and follow me on Twitter for updates and opinions about news, politics, and general tomfoolery. If you like my videos, please consider becoming a part of the skeptical family. Your support is so important right now in getting these questions and facts out there. We can't let the leftists bury the facts and push emotion before logic. Please share my videos with anyone you think might enjoy them and urge more people to support those of us who are trying to expose the truth and logic in the world. Thanks for watching!